Betamotor have announced their 2022 RR Racing Edition models with updates including traction control on the 4 strokes, power upgrades on the 2-stroke engines, and suspension improvements across the 8-model range. The 300's new engine, combined with a dedicated new mapping, boasts a smoother and more progressive response to throttle input and a more linear power delivery. That means a more in maximum power, but they claim it is also easier to handle, more intuitive, and more forgiving to use than ever before. New clutch with diaphragm springs. This system makes the clutch action smoother, more progressive and more controllable, significantly reducing riders' fatigue. Both engagement and disengagement have been improved, while the clutch is now capable of transmitting even more torque. 3 different spring preload settings are available, adjustable with a simple mechanical procedure. It has a brand new larger bore cylinder, a new piston and a new power valve. The crankshaft piston stroke is shorter than the previous model, while the cylinder head has been redesigned to perfectly combine with the other new components and the new iridium spark plug. A smaller diameter silencer improves the top-end performance and tractability of the engine. What is really important for hard enduro riding? Suspension on the rear monoshock gains new compression damping settings with independent high and low speed damping rates. This prevents the 2 parameters from influencing each other and limiting the customization of the setting. The settings available for the fork have been revised to improve rideability and precision during extreme use. The fork tubes are now different in color, thanks to the new process which improves the surface hardness and corrosion resistance of the component. The front forks has been continuously honed and improved through collaboration between Beta and Kayaba, giving shape to a highly specialized component that not only maximizes the performance of bikes, but also makes this performance even more accessible. To better manage the increased power output of the engine, Beta's engineers have upgraded in 2022 the power valve, changing the internal spring and adjustment system to ensure full-bodied and readily accessible power delivery throughout the rev range. The ignition advance has also been modified as a consequence of these upgrades to the engine. The new electronic control unit has been improved to offer better traction map management and to benefit of the engine brake effect more effectively in order to let the rider make full use of the potential of the engine. The map selector button remains in its familiar position between the fuel tank and the headstock, where it is easily accessible but protected against accidental hits. What has racing model compared to normal bike? With racing version you will get quick release front axle, immediately recognizable by the red color. This is important when you need change your front tire really fast in race. You will also get handguards, and on stock bike you will not get them. Also they look very nice on Beta with these colors. Metzeler tires are coming on racing bikes. They are fitted with the same tires used by the official team riders in the Enduro Championship. You will also get alloy foot pegs. When riding an enduro bike on a competitive level, you're constantly changing the position of your body. So it's essential that the contact points between you and the bike offer impeccable levels of grip. For the feet this is ensured by racing foot pegs with a big contact area and with steel pins. A new blue racing seat with special cover for maximum grip with built small holder pocket, what can be really useful on enduro races. There are other little things, where some are parts black or red. But they do not affect driving and bike performance. You need to decide which model you want, to get one with Sachs forks or with Kayaba forks. That is biggest difference in models. I must also mention the 4-stroke bikes. There's always room for improvement. Nobody understands this better than the official riders of the Beta team: Steve Holcombe, winner of the Enduro 2 World Championship, Brad Freeman, winner of the Enduro 3 World Championship. Another amazing rider is Jonny Walker, who chose Beta as the team to take his extreme enduro performance to the next level in 2021. And Beta's fans also know this, as they continue to choose its products and make the brand one of the best sellers in its class. Beta has introduced major new features and upgrades for the My 2022 version's 4-stroke RR models, taking the already highly acclaimed capabilities of the previous models to extraordinary new heights. The upgrades introduced on the brand's 4-stroke. The goal of the engineers of Beta was to fine-tune their vehicles without altering their unique character, accentuating all the outstanding qualities, setting each individual model apart. Following Beta tradition, the RR range encompasses all the enduro models of the brand, with no exception. High-performing and sophisticated bikes that manage to appeal a broad range of users, thanks to the continuous work of the engineers of the brand meant to constantly improve these machines and make their impressive power and performance easily accessible to all. As always, the range is made of 8 different models, each with its own personality, to cater for the needs of any rider. There's the perfect RR for every rider, even though they all share the ability to instill confidence in the user and offer a genuinely rewarding riding experience. The most significant new feature in the range is the introduction of traction control, a first on an RR bike. Advances in motorcycle technology are giving shape to new components and systems usable even on enduro bikes, which let the rider make more effective use of the vehicle in all possible conditions. To make the performance of its models, and of its bigger displacement bikes in particular, ever more accessible to the rider in any situation, in addition to user-selectable electronic engine management maps, Beta has now introduced a new traction control function. Autumn is here, and while everyone else wraps themselves up cozily at home, the most hardcore enduro enthusiasts will be getting out there to put the new RR Racing My 2022 range through its paces. So, what better time than this for Beta to give the public a chance to own race-ready versions of the racing bikes? For the My 2022 version, the engineers have worked on developing upgrades for both the suspension and the powertrain, while keeping all the styling and functional details you'd expect from a race-focused version from Beta. As the standard version, the racing range is also made up of 8 different models, each with its own unique character and strengths. 350. This is the easiest to handle bike in the 4-stroke model range and a very linear power output. 390. With an ideal handling to power ratio, it's winning machine with outstanding traction. 430 is a high-performance engine that is at its best when the rider exploits the long gearing and significant torque. 480. It expresses in wide open spaces. Its characteristics are similar to the 430 model, but with even greater torque and power, suitable for more expert and physically fit riders. In keeping with the pure racing traditions of Beta, each bike in the RR Racing My 2022 differs from the respective standard bike in a number of different aspects, with a series of racing parts shared across the range, such as handguards and components in red alloy, and certain specific elements for each model. 48mm Kayaba closed cartridge fork. We can't talk about suspension of these bikes without mentioning the closed cartridge fork by Kayaba, the leading brand in enduro for years, whose products have once again been chosen for the new models. This product has been continuously honed and improved through collaboration between Beta and Kayaba, giving shape to a highly specialized component that not only maximizes the performance of racing bikes but also makes this performance even more accessible. Beta engineers have revised the calibration of this component, chiefly to improve comfort during initial compression, when shocks from the terrain are transmitted to the rider. The traction control function can be engaged at any time from a new button on the control panel in the usual position between the steering tube and the fuel tank. As both the TC function and engine map selection function are controlled from this panel, it now has 2 control buttons and 2 separate indicator LEDs for the 2 functions. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you learned something about the new models.